Paul Mashatile wants to be president of the ANC and of South Africa as in yesterday. He wants it now. He is already making moves. I mean, you may have seen in the recent past, by the way, he has become bolder in making pronouncements relating to the GNU, what he prefers and what he doesn't want.
True.
He actually has made it clear that he doesn't want the DA in the GNU. He never behaved like that before.
True.
Why is behaving like that? He knows Cyril Ramaphosa is weak now in his second term. Number two, he is positioning himself to be the next guy. So he's mobilizing factions within the ANC to be behind him because they must view him as the next guy. So Cyril Ramaphosa, if he survives, he will survive as ANC president. Obviously, he's going to be voted out in 2027 December. In December. And he is not going to present the State of the Nation address in 2028. Zuma didn't present it, that State of the Nation address. They prevented it. They will prevent Cyril Ramaphosa when he's no longer president of the ANC. That's when the DA is going to be kicked out, my friend.
But what if, okay, here is my theory. Let's test my theory. I hear you and I agree with your points, very strong point. But my theory is a little bit different to yours. First of all, I think mine is different in that the ANC doesn't have outright majority. That first is a point of fact that is different under Cyril now.
That weakens Cyril even more.
Okay, I hear you. But I think it strengthens him. Depending on how you look at it, you are right, I am right. I say it strengthens him because the glue, as it looks like, that holds the GNU together is the DA. So I'm saying you are right when you say, I agree with you when you say the DA leaves. But what if then the DA and the business that has been behind them and Cyril says, if to the ANC guys now at the time, the new leadership after December 2027 for the ANC, should you get rid of Cyril? We are out of this GNU thing, we're collapsing the economy.
Yeah, but the ANC forces that support the likes of Paul Mashatile,
yes,
these are crooks. They don't care.
Yeah.
By the way, they have lots of money.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't care. They would tell the so-called white business to go jump.
Yes.
So they don't worry about what's going to happen to you and I, by the way.
Yeah.
In any case, these fat cats of the ANC have never cared about what happens to the poor black people. Look at black communities.
Yes.
They have ravaged them. So why must they care? For as long as they have money, no problem.
What if?
So this is what they will do, by the way.
Yeah.
They will say to business, okay, go jump.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. We will rebuild the ANC. And you must watch the space.
Yeah.
They'll say, we will rebuild the ANC. You know what would that rebuilding entail? Reuniting with the EFF, reuniting with MK. And their calculation would be that if they were to join forces with the EFF and MK, they can regain power, state power. And that is their ticket, by the way. So they can tell business to go jump.
Yes.
Hoping that if they join forces with MK and EFF, they can cross the 51% mark in 2029. And you know what they want? Once they cross that line, they want to loot. That's all they want. Yeah. They don't care about South Africa.
I hear you. But what if then, okay, another scenario, I'm just now, testing your theory and how far it can go. What if Paul Mashatile doesn't actually win? Because even in that contest, there will be other forces, the likes of Fikile Mbalula. I've heard the name of Sputla Ramokgopa, Panyaza Lissouf. There's many actual names. The Oscar Mabuyanes of this world. There's a whole lot of names. But I think in the main, to be quite fair, the front runners will be Fikile Mbalula and Paul Mashatile. But what if, okay, let's use the front runners. What if Fikile Mbalula wins that conference? And Fikile Mbalula seems to be very happy with the DA within the chain.
I don't think he's happy. I mean, judging by the statements he makes, I mean, he insults them publicly. I don't think he's happy.
Yes.
It's not a happy marriage at all. If Fikile Mbalula wins, most probably the GNU would continue.
Yes.
Because Fikile Mbalula, I think he has drunk too much of Cyril Ramaphosa's Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So I think it would continue along those lines. Fikile Mbalula sees himself in the main as a moderate,
yes,
as a middle ground politician. True. That's how he positions himself.
Yes.
So I think that if he were to win, there would probably be a GNU. But let me tell you, it would be a weaker GNU. Because no matter what happens, number one, that process of removing Cyril Ramaphosa will necessarily be chaotic. and divisive in the ANC.
Yes.
So the ANC will not emerge out of that process stronger. And that will translate into significant electoral loss in 2029. So what will happen is, say Fikile wins, the ANC will be weaker, too divided. He won't unite the ANC. So, and the public will react at the polls. The ANC would get less than 30% under Fikile Mbalula. The MK party would actually grow. And the EFF would stagnate or even decline. So what happens is the ANC of Fikile Mbalula would sit around 26, 27%. The DA sitting around 23, 24%. Then the two of them could constitute another GNU, which is weaker, with smaller parties.
Yes.
And by the way, that would be a nice exit of the ANC from power. Then come 2034, the ANC, and I'll still be around, hopefully. And I hope you'll still be around. I will say, call me again. Do you see the script I told you? Then in 2034, the ANC would get less than 20%, would get something like 15, even 12%. And that would be history. You wouldn't find an ANC t-shirt in South Africa, by the way. Just like if you went to Zambia today and look for the ANC's counterpart, the party of Kenneth Kaunda, not even a single t-shirt of that party exists. So, by the way, we must be very happy as South Africans. We are processing the ANC peacefully without it resorting to guns. Elsewhere, in the ZANU-PF, for example, they have resorted to guns and they have sustained themselves in power. So the ANC is going to disappear nicely through GNUs and ultimately we'll have to decide what we want to do with our country.
Maybe just to finish these points, let's finish with the ANC contest, Prince. In terms of that contest on its own now, the contest 2027 outside GNU, looking inward into the ANC, what for you, which candidate is stronger, especially between these two that we agree on that are front runners, Fikile Mbalula and Paul Mashatile?
It's Paul. I'll tell you why. Paul is a commander of thugs in the ANC. Thugs are more fierce when they fight. Moderates are moderate when they fight. Thugs are more determined, my friend. When they go to rob a bank, they go with rifles. They don't take nopkiris. Moderates take nopkiri. So Fikile Mbalula is armed with a nopkiri. Paul is armed with an R1, AK-47. So because the thugs know that if there were to be an irrational contest where people debate and they must present their cases and convince society, we would be beaten because society knows we are thugs. They fight dirty. And they know that that is the only way that can facilitate their entry into power. So they will fight hard. So those who support, who would support Fikile, the moderates, wouldn't be as dirty as those who support Paul. That's why Paul, I would argue, is a front runner. Number one. Number two, thugs can strike deals with other thugs. So the thugs who support Paul Mashatile can strike deals with the thugs in MK. I mean, the MK is a party of thugs. I mean, you just have to look at the top and come down. All of the top guys in MK, just look at them carefully, you'll see state capture. We know, by the way, they are trying very hard to delete our memories. That we must forget that Jacob Zuma was once president of South Africa. He worked with the Guptas. They landed planes at Waterkloof. All of that, they stole money. They want us to forget that. But we won't forget. We know what they did. So the Paul Mashatile thugs can strike deals with the thugs in MK. And they can do the same with the thugs in EFF. That's why those ones are front runners. But